You're watching Bloomberg West. I'm Emily Chang. Kids are clamoring for tablets. By one count, close to 40% of children under 8 have used an iPad or some other mobile device, and analysts are expecting those tech-savvy toddlers to drive demand this holiday season. Our Corey Johnson found some kids he could relate to for this story.
Yeah, my maturity, Emily, as you know, is right about there with the 3-year-old, so it was just perfect for me to see the way that they are interacting in a very fascinating way with the latest in technology.
Kids love their tablets. Take Dylan and her alphabet app.
D's my name.
Yes, D is your name.
K starts with my name.
K starts with your name.
K starts with my name too.
Ricky plays with colors.
Can I try? Like that?
Caden likes it all.
Do you like playing on the iPad?
Yeah.
And then there's this kid.
Apparently riding the dog like it's a small horse is frowned upon in this establishment. Luckily, though, I can conceal this bad boy underneath my blanket.
The E-Trade kid may have started as comedy, but he's become a surprisingly accurate symbol of a new wave of tablet users. According to Forrester research, 29% of tablet owners share their device with their kids. Among mothers, it's 65%. A recent report by Common Sense Media says 38% of U.S. children under 8 have used a mobile device such as an iPad or an iPod.
My husband and I actually never get to use it anymore, except at night when they're asleep, then it's our turn. But it's definitely like if we want to find the iPad, it's with one of the kids usually.
Apple is expected to sell some 20 million iPads this holiday season, many targeted at kids.
Kids, by default, are becoming the next generation of adopting it. Both because it's just darn easy to use and it defaulted into the kids' hands. I think that's driving a lot of usage by them.
App makers also have a bullseye on kids with an entire sub-industry of toddler-targeted apps. And then there are the tablet peripherals, like the tablet teddy bear from Los Angeles mom Becky Radent.
He loves to lay on his stomach and sit there, and it's sitting there, and he's all playing with it, and it gives him a stuffed animal to play with.
The movement is unabated by the American Academy of Pediatrics' recommendation that kids under 2 have no screen time, and older kids have only 1 to 2 hours a day in front of any screen.
You hear so many people say, don't let him be in front of the TV, don't let him be in front of the computer, different things like that. But then it's like, now that I have a child, I'm like, well, this is our world today. This is what we do. One
of the things we noticed ahead of the holiday season, Nielsen did a survey, 44% of kids 6 through 12 want an iPad too.
So move over, Tickle Me Elmo. This year, Junior wants an iPad.
It's really all we ever need.
Do you ever use this one, the Bloomberg application? It's really exciting. No, we don't like that. I know, I don't like that. All right, for more on the effects of tablets on toddlers and the big money companies like Apple and Amazon stand to make from these new young fans, we're joined by Jim Steyer, CEO of Common Sense Media. So this is a big issue in my house because I've got little kids and we've got lots of iPads and such floating around. What is it that parents don't know about the effect of these products on their kids?
Well, I think a few things. I mean, first of all, as the report said, if your kid's under the age of 2, first of all, there's no possibility of learning value. That's why the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time for kids under the age of 2. And quite frankly, you can have brain development issues here because the fast-moving stimuli actually affect kids' brains. So the first thing they need to know is it isn't the same as watching TV, and there's nothing as good, and you know this as a dad, I know this as the dad of 4, as reading to your kid, holding on to your kid in real time, playing blocks with them, etc.
Right, and I'd love to do that all day, but I've got, I got to come here and tell stories.
That's correct.
But, I watched, my brother has a little kid, 18 months or something.
Right.
I watch her on the iPad moving shapes around and doing stuff, and I'm frankly amazed that she has the cognitive skill to do that at that age.
No, it's no question. And the thing is, there's no question that certain kids do. So you can't, it's not exactly black and white. At 2 years and above, they start to be able to do it. I mean, think about it from a TV standpoint, it's Sesame Street. Sesame Street's for 2 and above, because at that point, you can start to learn things, provided the product is made that's educational. And that's the other key issue here is, how do you choose, if you are going to let your little kid be on a tablet computer like an iPad, how do you know that the content is actually valuable? And that's one of the critical issues you need to know too.
So here's one way that you can tell. You see a kid interact with it and they learn the alphabet. They move shapes around. They know colors. Isn't that proof in some way that the thing is in some way educational for a kid?
I would say, you said in some way educational. That was a very important qualification. Maybe, maybe not. You also don't want your kid glued to a screen. I mean, I can tell you the downsides of it. So the key is balance and moderation. And again, under the age of 2, don't forget, the pediatricians of America say don't let your kid get in front of a screen. Now, that's sort of an absolutist rule, but I would think about it. The bottom line, though, I think this report makes clear, Corey, is that this is where the world is moving. Mobile is it, and you're going to see more of this.
And this is a business show, and you know, we focus on businesses developing to address new audiences. There are a lot of businesses out there, whether it's someone making stuffed animal iPad holders, or I'm amazed at how many apps are geared towards toddlers. Is this like people selling cigarettes, saying if someone's going to buy them, it's okay?
No,
it's
not
not
at all.
that pernicious.
No, definitely not. And in fact, you know, Common Sense is the leading kids and media organization in the United States. So a couple of things I would say. First of all, we're going to launch an educational rating system next year, the first time ever, where we're going to actually give consumers like you and your wife information about whether something actually is educational or not, whether there is learning potential in something that a manufacturer claims it to be. That's number one. Second, as we mentioned in the report, you know, Amazon and Apple are clearly the leaders in this market right now. And there are tons and tons of app developers close to us here in San Francisco who are building product. So it's critical that a consumer be discerning about this, that you make smart choices for your kids about what content to expose them to, and that you limit them. That's, I think, the big issue. The third thing, you know, we did this big national study of media usage for kids under the age of 8. There's an app gap between upper income kids and lower income kids. So that folks like you and your wife, you actually allow your kids to have you have an iPad at home and you let your kid play on that. For low-income kids, only 13% of them actually have any access to it. So you don't want to see a new digital divide created here, because this is the wave of the future. Remember, we're talking about home consumer use now. But schools, 2 to 3 years out, Corey, schools are going to be teaching on these tablets. So the app gap's a critical issue going forward.
Rich stuff. Jim Steyer, Common Sense Media, really appreciate the work and appreciate your time.
Good to see you, Corey.
Emily?
Good food for thought for parents out there. Thanks, Corey. Up next, stick around for our B West Bite, one number that tells a whole lot.